Welcome everyone to Hookpcs. In this video, we will guide you in selecting the perfect notebook based on your specific needs. If you're unsure about which model to pick or how to begin your search, stay tuned and watch this comprehensive video. Whether for work, study or gaming, choosing the ideal laptop will make a big difference at the time of purchase for you until you don't regret it later. The notebooks, they are many, differentiated from each other and specific for each performance, for each need you look for. First point is to consider, do you really need a notebook? No, that's a lie. This is an important question to ask yourself, as the notebook always offers two advantages if you really need to take your notebook from one side to the other. Or do you have little space in your environment? The notebook will be ideal, but remember that the computer will always perform better than the notebook in relation to the price paid at the time of purchase. The computer has much easier maintenance, you find parts much easier, you change a motherboard much easier, unlike the notebook that has practically everything integrated. Integrated processor, we are now with integrated memory, storage often integrated. The complexity of maintenance arises from each manufacturer's unique characteristics and engineering choices, such as specific chargers, hinges, keyboards, and beyond. This ongoing need for maintenance ensures that the computer will eventually be designed for quicker, simpler, and more cost-effective upkeep. Let's discuss space. No need to worry about limited computer storage. Nowadays, computers are incredibly compact. We have Intel's NUK, a powerful computer small enough to fit in your hand, along with SFX source models becoming increasingly smaller and efficient. And we have the Mini ITX computers. It is also worth remembering that the computer you have a larger screen to work models of 18, 21, 23, 27 in nowadays, making a more pleasant environment to work. Knowing the limitations of the notebook is essential to have no regrets at the time of purchase. After today, we have no way to ask questions. Wow, I bought it and the processor is no longer able to handle it. There is no way to change it. There is no way. I bought a notebook and now I'm wanting to play heavier games or render. Is there a way to put it on a video card? No, there's no fucking way, huh? I didn't know. So if you have already decided on the notebook, first question you have to ask yourself, what are you going to utilize it for? You need it to work. Administrative part, play, render, need mobility. Maybe hostile environment or not. Basic navigation? This answer will be in accordance with the choice of processor, which is fundamental, the processors. They are divided into categories according to your need. The processors are simpler, they are for basic navigation, stronger processors for gaming, rendering, engineering and everything else. What about the processor? It will be the main choice of the notebook. It will determine the value of the notebook, especially its durability. I understood the reference. Let's go to the choice of the processor. So the processor, it is the brain of the notebook. Intel EMD processors today are the most common. We are coming with Snapdragon processors, but we still don't have it strong here in our national market. So we are going to focus mainly on Intel processors. And the first line of processors on the market, it is Celeron or Intel Inside, okay? Usually Ali can't do much at the same time. You will not be able, for example, to open a Word document, open 23 tabs of Google Chrome, because the processor, it will become slow. You will be able to open, but you will have great difficulty. Poor is a sad thing. It has been sold for many years for the same purpose. They are the ideal processors for an 11-box front computer, inventory control that's going to keep that screen open all day working on that thing. So since you won't need multitasking, Celeron for this is ideal, but we always avoid selling Celeron notebooks. Why? The customer ends up in the future, in 1 year, a year and a half around, wanting to come and improve this notebook. There is no way to improve. Oh, there's a Celeron, new generation. It's the same Celeron, improving things a little bit, but its focus is still basic tasks. Yes.
It's truly unbelievable how evil you are.
So for basic tasks, study and administrative, you who are studying for psychology, pedagogy, administration, law, initially Intel i3 and AMD Ryzen 3 processors are ideal and are already sufficient processors. It will supply your need and very well. If you need to edit short videos like a Rio or a short, or work with Lightroom or Photoshop, Intel processors and Ryzen 5. They are ideal even for the floor plan engineering part. For example, you will work with another CAD in 2D works more with electrical part or plumbing part that works only with 2D will also supply very well. Excellent. Now we will begin to raise the level of your requirement. You may notice that every time the requirement level of the notebook is higher, it needs a stronger processor for video editing with greater durability. 30 minutes, 1 hour in high quality, working with Revit, Lumio, SketchUp, heavier engineering programs. Let's look already work with processors in 7 or in 9 or Ryzen 7 or Ryzen 9 from MD are ideal processors for this personal purpose. A big tip is different from computers. 5 processors and 7 processors. Ryzen 5 and Ryzen 7. In the notebook line, they do not have 11 major performance differential. For example, if you work with video editing or work with heavy engineering, if you take notebook 1 and notebook 5 and notebook 7, the performance is not going to be a big differential. It usually doesn't get to be more than 10% different from the computer, and the difference is usually very large. So if you're looking for a notebook, the difference between values of 1 and 5 and 7, Ryzen 5, Ryzen 7. If price difference exceeds 10%, opt for cost-effective models. But if current hardware struggles, note that switching to desktops with better processors might be necessary. Because if you already have the notebook and 5 and 7, it's not doing it. You definitely need a computer. Second story we consider, it is RAM memory. RAM memory, it is essential for multitasking. It will determine what you can leave open on the screen. At the same time, of course, Google Chrome, AutoCAD is coming. That Google Chrome there is consuming every memory, which is one thing. But if you work with Google Chrome open and, for example, open Photoshop, Photoshop has to consume a little more memory. Memory will determine what you can leave open at the same time. So the more memory you have, the more open things you can leave at the same time. For the administrative and study line, 8 GB today is the essential. Below 8 GB, you will have a lot of trouble opening several things at once. You'll be able to open 34 April Chrome, and maybe in the other document, if you're working with spreadsheets, if the spreadsheet has too many rows, too many shapes, it consumes more memory. So 8 GB is ideal. Always check to see if your laptop has the option to expand memory. This is increasingly difficult today in the market. We are not finding many notebooks with memory expansion. Unfortunately, it is a cultural trend. It is very likely that you will buy a notebook in the future with 8 GB. It will only have 8 GB. Without being able to expand this memory, it comes soldered to the board. So laptops, they're becoming pretty much a big screen, high performance mobile phone. It pisses me off. For those who work in the engineering part, starts with 16 GB photographers working with various catalogs in the light run, need 16 GB of memory, video editor minimum 16 GB, engineering part also the entire line of 16 GB. If you work with very large environment rendering and engineering part, you may need 16 GB. There's a tip, it's how you know your consumption. You press Ctrl Alt Del keyboard, go to Task Manager, go to Performance line. When you have everything there open, see your memory consumption. If your memory consumption is already at 70 to 80%, think about increasing that memory number in the future. This is very important, okay? Because the memory is no longer able to handle what you do. So now we go to the storage part. Storage is what you can save on the equipment. So, the bigger it doesn't mean it's going to be faster. The larger, the more space you have to save your files. It's like you have a closet. So the more drawers, the more space you can put more stuff in there. Today we have 3 storage technologies: HD, SATA's SSD and NVMe SSD. The HDs, they are already falling behind in the market. Hardly find notebooks with HD. If you are finding notebook with HD, either it is refurbished or it is used. The second type of storage we have is SSD. SATA OSSD SATA, it has a transfer rate of 540 MB per second on average. And last we have OSSD NDNE. Depending on the notebook, it can vary between 1000 MB per second or up to 3500, 5000 MB per second. So we will come back now according to your need in the administrative part for study. Generally 240 GB OSSD, it is already there. The ideal size for the video editing part, engineering part from 480 or a Tera, it is always also very good to look if you have a notebook that has expansion slot for storage, has notebooks that it has a CSD NVMe. It can put more a SATA output that you can add a HD or an SSD. Performance notebook, mainly from the gamer line or heavy engineering line, they have this option. We have to think too. Today we are storing everything in the cloud, right? So the trend is for storage to get smaller and you save your stuff in the cloud. Oh, and a tip, you always have backup. Let's not forget that. Whether in the cloud or in your notebook, always have backup storage. Now let's talk about graphics performance. Let's talk about the video card. There are two types of video card in the notebook. There is the integrated line, which it is part of the processor, and there is the dedicated video card. Then the video card separate from the processor with much stronger performance. So let's differentiate it according to your need. If you are going to be gaming or going to work with heavy video editing, especially the dedicated video card, it's key. She will give you your time to render these projects. If you do not need this, you can opt for the integrated graphics card in the processor itself. MD processors already have video cards. Integrated as Vega 7 as Vega 11, you will already be able to play games in light quality on average and will already be able to render and work with a certain quality. So speaking of which, I don't remember seeing an MD board for the notebook line. I will even do some research and will leave it here in the comments too. We have Intel AR graphics cards that I have not yet seen anything about the notebook line. So today we have on the market AGTX 1650. It is coming off the line AZRTX 3050. That Nvidia launched now a short time ago with the notebook line and the 4000 series, which are RTX 4060, 4070 and 4080. So let's talk about them now, okay? As I mentioned earlier, the 16 and 50 series, it's going out of line, okay? And the 3050 series is coming, which is a video card for basic game performance in basic engineering as well. If you are looking for higher performance, always look to turn to the 4060, 4070 and 4080 line. But there is a big detail. There is usually the difference between the 4060, 4070 and 4080 performance. It is much lower than the value of. So you imagine the following, a notebook with the 40 and 80, it's going to be more than double the value of a notebook with the 40 to 60. However, this notebook won't give you more than double the serious performance. So guys, because we are talking about the line of notebook video cards different from computer despite having the same nomenclature. Of the video card and processors are completely different performances, as I have said previously. It is also good to note that notebooks with 4060, 4070 and 4080 video card, they have a very large graphics charger, and this makes mobility very difficult. And also, when you have rendering playing at high performance the battery, it will have a much lower durability. Usually, whoever plays or renders has to stay with the charger plugged in. That way, if you need a dedicated video card, I always recommend that you focus on the 3050 or 4060. And generally, anyone looking for higher performance than the 4060, I always recommend the computer line. Now let's talk about the notebook screen. Today, the standard screen size is 15.6. Why do I talk about standard? When do you leave this 15.6, 14, 13, 16 or 17 screen model in screen? It becomes very expensive to maintain and very expensive to even get that piece in the future. So if you buy a notebook out of 15.6, 14 in, you still find with some ease in the market. 17, 16, 13 in 13.3 is very difficult to find in the Brazilian market, which also becomes very expensive in maintenance. Today we have them with quality is in HD, which are usually those laptops entry, full HD quality that most laptops are coming nowadays, and we already have laptops with quality of 2K, 4K are usually stronger thinkers, integrated and even dedicated video cards. Now we will talk about the brand of the notebook. We hear from the PC street, we recommend 4 milestones: Lenovo, Acer, Asus and Dell. Why do we recommend these 4 brands? We consider these 4 brands to be the same quality shelf. If you disassemble a note like this, you will see that it has an assembly pattern, a manufacturing pattern always related to that brand. They are generally brands that we do not encounter problems and are easy to maintain. A tip is Lenovo and Archam. They usually follow an assembly pattern. For example, Archam, it keeps a charger. Standard for many years, so she has practically 2 chargers on the market. This becomes easier in maintenance, you find this charger. So Lenovo and Acer will always have this advantage in maintenance. It doesn't mean that it will bother you more or less, it's more than Dell and AS. But Dell and AS, usually they change their design frequently, change the type of keyboard, change their flat cable, change their hinge. And they are hard to find one after, or when you find it, they are more expensive in the room. Q6, how do we make these 4 brands? We go on the best processor, an example of these 4 brands, which is the best, and 3, which is the best price. What is the best price for Ryzen 5? And then we go to the issue of design. Then you can like Dell's design, Acer's design, Lenovo's design. It's a matter of your taste. But when it comes to durability and quality, these 4 brands are on the same shelf these days. Another line, also now new in quotation marks on the market, is the Vaio, which in fact it is not the Vaio, right? She is Positive. Unfortunately, Positive is working with the Vaio brand to give a chain, but the quality of the notebook she has sinned a lot, okay? It is also difficult to find maintenance parts. So there is the tip. As for the brand, well guys, we stay here. It is our first video tips and you will see many more videos of this type on our channel. So forget to leave your like, subscribe to our channel, and especially if you are buying a notebook or want to take some questions, leave it here in the comments. Let's talk about it, okay? And thanks for watching, and until the next video,